Hi, everybody. I'm just going to get right into it. Started shuffling and 2 cards fell out immediately. Root chakra in reverse. Integration in reverse. We also have authority here and empowerment, followed by conception. I'm going to read the integration card because root chakra is pretty self-explanatory for me. The frequency of integration supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. So what I'm feeling here is that we are in a space now where there are different parts of ourselves that we're keeping in silos, where we're keeping in their own lanes, so to speak. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys, going to school or going to college, you have a different persona with your friends than you did with your teachers, than you did with your parents, than you did with your cousins. And they were genuinely like almost different people. And it's not to say we don't change ourselves to be appropriate to a situation, right? Like, I might not get on here and act all crazy, but I might, right? Because I'm not sure I'm in that space anymore, but you won't go to work and talk sideways, but you might talk sideways, I don't know, if you're at a concert and you're just acting crazy, right? It's kind of that vibe of having, of code switching and having different personas, but in an unstable way, in an unsustainable way. And this is affecting the root chakra energy in the collective. And what does that mean? It means that if we're not able to integrate all the pieces of ourselves, and I sort of used a very shallow example of like the different personas when we're young and we have to like shift between things, but it could be that there are aspects of ourselves that we're not particularly excited about. So a personal example to get a little deep and intimate. Being late, right? I try my best to do better at that all the time. That's actually way too superficial. I'm trying to think of something deeper. Being queer, that's a better one. I think it's clear to most people who I am, what I am. But in certain spaces, maybe you want to not shine so brightly in your complete integrated form. Maybe when you're around your religious family, or me as a tarot reader, right? Not talking about or not being that piece of myself in certain spaces because I might not feel as confident because of that element. Maybe in academic spaces because spirituality and religion is not as respected in spaces where folks are more intellectually inclined. So what I'm saying here is when we can't integrate ourselves, when we can't integrate the pieces of ourselves, whether it's different like blatant identities or the shadow aspect of ourselves or the light aspect of ourselves, to recognize that we're both the same person and we're both sides of us are worthy of love, worthy of joy, worthy of peace. That affects our stability, our sense of being able to make and create for ourselves. I've got the Salvador Dali tarot deck here, so I'll be using that to clarify this. I also want to say, so this authority card here is kind of giving me emperor vibes, emperor or chariot, being able to take charge, being able to go forward, getting out of a stuck or a neutral position, moving forward. We can't do that if the pieces of ourselves are scattered, not aligned. So collective, the message for you today is, what pieces of you do you not always bring to the table? And if I'm at work, I'm not talking about a tarot reading that I did last weekend, or, you know, if I'm at, you know, a religious family's house, I'm not talking about how I was the Grand Master of the Pride Parade in my city, right? Maybe I am, but it, you know, if it comes up, but it's not something I would lead with. It's something that I'm hiding either. So what aspects of you are not integrated currently that could be potentially the reason why there are some blockages here in your ability to feel grounded, feel safe, feel like you have enough to build abundance on? Tell me more about integration in reverse, please. I'm also getting masculine, feminine, sort of the unity consciousness conversation that I think I used to have a lot more back when I first started reading, but the idea that we're not one or the other. We're not masculine, we're not feminine. We are both. We're not seeking as a masculine. We're not seeking a divine feminine, right? In this new era, in this new way of being, in this Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius era, like, we have to start thinking about us being the both and. We can't think of us being incomplete because we are just the feminine and we need a masculine in our life, right? That's sort of an old era kind of way of thinking. And that the more we integrate ourselves in these energies, and I'm not talking about gender here, I'm talking about our ability to give and our ability to receive, to provide, to nurture, to go, to stay, like that aspect of our thinking has to be in ourselves, not that we're seeking it in others. So integration can mean a lot of things here. And when it's in reverse, perhaps it's talking about that masculine and feminine energy and not just pieces of ourselves, shadow and light aspects, or different aspects of our identities that we don't want to bring to the forefront. So tell me more about integration in reverse, please. Four of Wands and the High Priestess. I'm sorry, no, this is Six of Wands. So the Salvador Dali deck it looks like a Four of Wands because of this thing here always reminds me, like on traditional Four of Wands, it looks like a huppah, like an altar or something with like a finish line or a ceremony or the four walls of a house. I'm just gonna look at the book quickly to see. No, yeah, it's the Four of Wands. Four of Wands. Okay. So this is about joy. This is about celebration. This is about creativity. And the High Priestess. So I think there's a creative aspect of you. This is giving solar. And it's also giving like third eye and crown because of the High Priestess here. There's an aspect here of yourself that involves your intuition, that involves your ability to just discern, pick up stimuli around you and be able to move forward in a confident, knowing way. That's linked to your creativity. That you're not integrating in all aspects of your life. Maybe you just think about your creativity as something you do on the weekends or when you're home from work, because maybe you're an accountant during the day. But your creativity is actually very much so linked to your intuition. And the fact that you're keeping it siloed or keeping it in a box or keeping it in a lane is part of the challenge here with respect to your ability to, the sort of disintegration that's happening now. And the High Priestess here is really telling me that this has a lot to do with your intuition, collective. I always like to say that your intuition and your creativity are very much linked. That's why I love hanging out with creatives so much, because there's something so intuitive about them. And I say them like I'm not one of them. And I don't really consider myself creative. I don't paint, I don't sing, I don't, but like creatives are connected to the divine because they are essentially using and aligning their chakras, right? Their ability to feel grounded, create, their confidence, their willpower, and their knowing to throw, who they are out there in their medium, however that comes out. Using their heart, of course, and their voice, even if their voice isn't like speaking, but it's their brush, it's their pen. Too many. Let's get to for root chakra. The Sun, Page of Coins, the Page of Cups. The Devil is underneath, and the Three of Swords is on top. Oh, this Three of Swords is very powerful. I had to show you guys this. I'm running out of time here, so I'm gonna wrap up. This has been a theme, of course. We've been talking about this old hurt that now has the collective energy in a place of relying on toxic thought patterns, limiting beliefs, substances, unhealthy communication patterns, unhealthy relationships, friendships, work situations. The heartbreak is keeping the collective energy bifurcated in like creating your own narrative, your own story based on the trauma of this. And that story involves keeping pieces of yourself, the dark, the light, the wrong, the right, separate, which is affecting your intuition. But you so desperately want a new beginning, Page of Pentacles. You so desperately want new love, Page of Cups. You so desperately want the Sun, a new day, joy. But again, you look at how this Dali piece here, like wrapped around, this looks like phallic, right? This is definitely a penis, right? Sort of, it's kind of reminding me of the Devil card here, which has some phallic stuff coming out. Their ability to access the Sun is being, I want to say, weighed down by all of the disintegration that you have going on currently. Almost like that stuck feeling of not being able to get out and make moves. I hope this makes sense. I feel like I'm in a Salvador Dali painting right now, to be honest. That's all I have for you. Wishing you all the best. Talk to you soon.